Stephen in Las Vegas.
Yeah, how you doing, guys?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, I just wanted to call this. I'm a first-time caller. Love the show. And I just wanted to say I don't understand why religious people find it so hard for us to believe they're garbage. When most of the people in the Bible who have direct contact with the so-called God, they don't believe them.
You mean in the context of the story, for instance...
Give me an example of who had direct contact to God that didn't believe God.
I can probably come up with let me know if this is the kind of thing you're thinking about. In the book of Exodus, when the Jews have just witnessed these miracles, or plagues that were clearly God-directed over and over again. You know, Moses said, God will send a plague, and he does, and then all the firstborn babies die. And then they all go out and wander the desert for a while, and as soon as, the second Moses leaves, they're like, I'm tired of that, God. Let's make a golden cow. Is that the sort of thing you're talking about?
Well, even people with more direct contact, if you look at Adam and Eve, you just popped out of existence, and this being told you don't eat from that tree, and you go and eat from the tree.
There's a difference between not believing the God exists and not agreeing with the God or not obeying the God. I mean, I might be confused here.
Well,
yeah.
Even with Lucifer, you know, they have direct. I mean,
Lucifer would not be an atheist.
Yeah, Lucifer definitely believes in God.
And so when a Christian says, even, you know, I think that isn't there something that says even the demons believe and tremble? I mean, they understand that not everybody that believes is going to obey. They get the idea of reject. What gets me, and what I thought your call was going to be more about, was the idea that they have such a hard time understanding that someone doesn't believe that God exists. That's what really seems to blow their minds.
Yeah, that does really blow their mind. They just can't get over that point. Besides the stuff that they believe,
they keep arguing like you do believe, but that you're just not saying it. And it's like, no, I really don't believe it. And you try to use an example, and you have to pull something that you know they won't believe, and so you go for something completely outrageous, like
Santa
fairies,
Claus.
And then they get offended, and you're just like, well, I don't know how else to explain to you that this is how much I don't believe your God exists, and I don't know how else to, it's like you have to think of it in those terms, and it's not that there's, I think the offense is kind of weird to me, because it's almost like what they're saying is that if you suggest that you don't believe in their God as much as they don't believe in fairies, that's offensive. And it's like, I can't help that that's offensive. It's the reality of the situation. And if you're going to engage me and have a dialogue with me, you need to be able to understand that. And if you can't understand that, we really can't talk because you don't understand my position.
Right. They do get offended because you're hurting their souls.
Yeah.
Soul crime.
But that's their problem, not yours. They are deeply invested in this belief system, and if they're just flat out calling you a liar when you say you don't believe something, it's not your job to fix their opinions of you, really.
I agree. What I was trying to get at is if a being just poofed into existence inside your studio there.
Okay.
And it said to you, in a thundering voice, and it's popping up animals all around you or whatever, and it says, "Don't look into camera 2, or you're out."
Well, that's like saying, "Don't think of an elephant." I immediately looked at camera 2, like the moment you said that. How did you even know there's a camera 2? You're creeping me out. Are you God?
Actually, if I, told you, hey, I just talked you into existence, and you're my children, and blah 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 blah. It's not. It's beyond disobeying. They didn't read this in a book. They're standing looking at them, talking to them, and do things that he says don't do. It's not even ambiguous. He says don't do this, and they go and do it. Yeah.
But they didn't know, right? They had no knowledge of good and evil, so they had no idea what was right to do and what wasn't right to do, correct?
we take Lucifer, yeah, right, and you look at him. He knows God is God, and that what his powers are and what his authority is, and he disobeys them. I mean, come on, how am I not? What chance do I have not disobeying him?
Yeah, and it is the Lucifer thing is really weird because he knows he's supposed to know God knows everything, and this is. I mean, has he not read the book? It doesn't end well for him. And so you just think to yourself, you read the book, do you have maybe he's got something up his sleeve, Maybe Lucifer's a little more clever than God's giving him credit for, and he's, it's not going to play out quite like that end times.
Yeah, right. It is childish. It's, I don't know, we get over Santa Claus and we get over all these other things, but...
you can get over religion, too.
Right. Yep.
But
all right.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys go. You probably got more callers. Thanks.
Okay.
Alrighty,
Thanks for calling. Yeah, the difference is when people grow up, they wind up in an environment where most people know that Santa Claus is a myth.
Yeah.
And people spend their whole lives living around other people who keep telling them that you should believe in God.